So joining me now with more, Ambassador Dennis Ross, former Special Assistant to President Obama and former National Security Council Senior Director. Ambassador Ross, very good to have you with us tonight. Thanks for being here. I want to get your reaction to this breaking news from North Korea and their objection to these exercises. What's your take?
Well, I do think that we're seeing some probing to see what we might do. There also certainly is a possibility that he's trying to play upon what is the unmistakable desire of the South to have all this work. And here again, see if he can get something for it to show he gets something even before the summit. But I even think there's one other possibility. Obviously here, the president has made it clear he's looking forward to this. He's building expectations. And maybe what you see Kim Jong Un do is also probe to see, or at least send a message to the president that this isn't necessarily given. So, you know, he is, I think, maneuvering right now. He's going to be kind of a cagey player when it comes to negotiations, and he's testing to see how important this is to the United States.
And what do you think President Trump's response should be now?
I think the response should be he's serious about discussions, but obviously you can't talk to yourself. So if Kim Jong Un doesn't want him to come to the summit, that's his choice.
All right. I want to turn your attention to what we have seen playing out in Israel and along the Gaza border. There's been a lot of mixed response in the media with regard to the violence that we saw on the Gaza Strip. And here's some of what we have been hearing in that regard. Let's play that.
More than 40 people dead today, and the White House isn't offering condolences. They're not offering any sort of heartfelt comments on the loss of life.
With their slingshots and burning tyres, the protesters, including 6 children who were reportedly killed today, seem to be losing their lives for nothing.
And all of those babies are dead. All of those people are dead. There are a lot of folks who are dead today. For what?
And here's the response from Ben Shapiro.
I think that there's so many media outlets that are acting as propaganda arms for Hamas that it's actually quite incredible. Hamas has not been unclear about their intent here. They've been saying for weeks they want to send literally 100,000 people to storm the border with Israel.
What do you think?
Well, look, there's no doubt that Hamas is trying to take advantage of this. I think we have to take a step back and say, what is it that Hamas is trying to do? And I think there's several things. One, they want to change the subject. They want to divert attention away from what life is like in Gaza, which is, it's awful. And the people in Gaza, in no small part, hold Hamas responsible for it. Two, they want to put pressure on Abu Mazen, president of the Palestinian Authority. He's putting pressure on them economically, and when they take on the Israelis this way, they obviously put him in the corner as well. Three, they actually want to stigmatize the Israelis, and they don't mind if Palestinians die in the process, a better way to put Israel in the docket. And probably four, they're trying to show that they're at least doing something on behalf of the Palestinian movement. So these are all motivations, none of which relate to doing something for the people of Gaza, all of which relate to Hamas trying to change the position that it's in.
I want to play this from Nikki Haley today and get your thoughts at the UN.
The common thread in all of this is the destabilizing conduct of the Iranian regime. A regime that insists on promoting violence throughout the Middle East while depriving its own people of basic human rights.
She walked out before the Palestinian leader spoke there today. What did you think about her comments?
Well, I think she's putting what's happening in a broader context. I don't think the Iranians are responsible for what's going on there. I do think they're certainly interested in fomenting it. One of the things the Iranians want to do, especially after the president made the decision on the walking away from the JCPOA, is to try to demonstrate that there's a cost. There'll be a cost to us, there'll be a cost to our friends, and this doesn't come cost-free. So are they the ones responsible for it? No. Are they certainly trying to promote it? Absolutely.
Ambassador Dennis Ross, thank you. Always good to see you, sir.
My pleasure.